All right. Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is your host, Matthew from Day and Night Podcast. Got another good one for you. It's no guest today. It's just me and Mark back like old times. Hopefully everybody's enjoying this. Well, at least enjoy this beautiful weather. I don't know about
Oh
anywhere
yeah,
else,
yeah, it's
but
beautiful out here too.
is it? That's good. So, being that we just starting off a little bit late, I'm just going to get into it. As always, like, subscribe, comment if you can, share if you can. Continue to check us out on Spotify every Wednesday. And yeah, so today's topic is going to be it's basically I was just looking at TikTok, and one of the things that I noticed that I've always thought about is the state of the United States as far as I believe it's going to be like a two-class society is what it's moving to, as far as just the rich and just the poor. So that's what the topic is. The state of the United States, is it going moving towards a two class society, just the rich and just the poor? All right, Mark, what you got for us?
Well, I just want to say, hey, I appreciate everybody, coming on, checking us out. I'm looking forward to today's, topic. So I'm gonna kind of let you start it off, and I'm gonna chime in because I want to hear more, what you have to say, and then I'm gonna, respond to that. But yeah, so it's I believe that is trending in that way. So I think that is rich and poor, and it's just two types of, society people in society nowadays. And I don't be on TikTok as much, but I do catch some of the stuff that's on there,
Hmm.
and it does seem that way. Just interesting. I know you referred to the Hunger Games, and I just saw the other one. I don't know if you've seen the last one that came out, where it's more the prequel, and it showed you how it all begun. How it originated. So
Hmm.
that was something that was interesting. So yeah, so I'm gonna let you start out. Like I said, I'm gonna come back and and give my response to that. So
All right. All right. So basically, like I was just saying, um, as far as I just believe that just at least the United States, I can't speak for any other countries, but just here recently, within the last what 2, 3 years since even COVID, I would say, with all the prices just being ridiculously high, with rent, food, gas, um, just everything is crazy expensive. Like yesterday, I bought some. Oh no, today I bought some herbs. I don't know if the lady overcharged me, but I $33 for maybe not even an ounce of burdock root. That's
mm,
ridiculous. So, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of people, in my opinion, that's out here that's struggling, just to get a job. And being that I'm doing this customer service with um, the disabled veterans for Identigo, which is fingerprinting. So I have the privilege of scheduling fingerprints for a lot of professionals, and the majority of the customers are seniors. When I say seniors, I'm talking about like 60 years old, 55 years old, 70. I lied to you not. And there was a dude yesterday that was scheduling to get his fingerprints as a massage therapist. And his birthday, unless I heard him wrong, he said it was like 1935. I'm like, what the hell were you trying to do at damn 90 something years old doing massage? So the
mhm.
point I'm trying to get to is it's hard out here. And I had one guy, he was like really, pissed off and real anxious, like, man, I really need to get this. I'm tired of going back and forth. I need a job. I just need to get a job. I said, trust me, brother, I understand because, I was without a real job, so to speak, for 3 years. So I definitely know what it feels like. And so the point I'm getting to is people out here hurting. And some of the TikTok videos that I've seen, that was the things that they were talking about as far as how it just seems as though the United States is just increasing prices so much that it's almost unbearable to survive. Like you have to have three jobs. There's no way you can survive in this society nowadays with one job.
Yeah.
Unless you got a good one. Like if you in a profession you're making over six figures, then you're good. But I'm speaking of people that don't have licenses, don't have. I'm not even going to say degrees because that really don't mean anything that much anymore. But
Mhm.
somebody just have something that they can provide that's going to allow them to make income that's going to be substantial enough to where they can survive. And I look at it when I buy food and I barely eat. The bill is probably like close to $150, and that's maybe like two bags. So can you imagine some of these families that have three, four, five kids in it? Their bill has to be for groceries at least close to $1,000, and that's just for groceries. And that's not including, gas for the vehicle, lights, gas for the home or whatever,
Right.
water.
Mhm.
So it's just, in my opinion, I feel as though it's moving to a society to where you're either going to be rich or you're either going to be poor. And that's the only two that you have. No more middle class, no more in between. And so the Hunger Games, that sticks in my mind because the poor, like it was the rich and then it was the poor. And then the poor was outside of the gate of the city where all the rich people lived. And, they was like fighting amongst themselves just to survive. And I just really see it's a possibility of us getting to that point. Now, will it be to an extent how it is in the Hunger Games? Probably not. But I mean, just the concept of it's just two classes, the rich and the poor. And one of the other videos I was watching, it was this one guy, it was a brother, and he was like cursing out. It was police officers there. I don't know if they was kicking him out, but the dude was pissed. He's like, this don't make no fucking sense. I work and I can't afford, but y'all letting these immigrants come over here for free. And my dude was pissed. And that's what's going on in a lot of cities around the country is
Mhm.
there's so many immigrants coming in and they're basically letting them stay for free. They're giving them jobs. And because they coming from like third world countries and places to where they didn't have much, so they'll work for anything. So a lot of these companies don't have to pay American citizens that much because they know, they're going to want compensation. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? We got these immigrants that will work for, I don't know, even know what the minimum wage is anymore. They'll work for scraps, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas us, we like, no, I ain't working for that. I'm not putting in my hard earned energy and effort every day for scraps. So it's easier to give it to somebody that don't know any better and they just take anything because they just had, they never had that before. So that's to them, that's a lot.
Mhm.
And I just see that that's where everything is kind of moving to.
Right.
And it's crazy because I still see a lot of people stepping on each other just so they can make it, and they'll do anything and everything they can. And regardless how it may affect the other person, they don't care because I have to survive. And that's what it basically is boiled down to. It's like, you got to do whatever you have to do to survive out here. And
Yeah.
that's dangerous. So I'm gonna say this, and hear what you have to say as far as the other thing I was watching on TikTok, and the person was saying, and it's the same thing. I don't know if you follow 19 Keys. He was like, it's getting to the point now to whereas you have to have some type of profession or some type of skill that you can provide that's going to be in demand. Because if
Right.
you don't, and
Hmm.
all these jobs is letting go. UPS supposedly have let over like 12,000. I think FedEx is letting go of
Yeah.
people. Google is letting go of people. So it's just challenging. And
Hmm.
if you don't have some type of skill where it's going to be in demand and you can't get a job, it can get ugly real quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's funny you say that. Yeah, it's inflation basically is part of it, and like you said, cost of living is ridiculous. And just here in San Antonio, and we was talking about that the other day. It's funny that you brought this up. Is the other day one of the managers told me to do something, and I was joking with him, but I was still kind of serious because I work for a corporation. It's a manufacturing company for Toyota, and the supervisor tells me oh, you need to do this and that. I said, that's out of my job description, dude. You asking too much. And he's like, what does that mean? I said, for what y'all pay us, that's out of my job description. You expect me to do more and get paid less. So you want more for less. So, and I told him, so we start talking as a group of employees. I'm like, it's crazy how some of those people been there 10, 15 years. And I asked one of the ladies that's been there 15 years, I said, what is the cap on how much y'all make? She said $18. I was like, oh, hell no. I said, how can you work that many years? You're just now getting to $18 and you cool with that. And I said, that's the problem that I have is a lot of people is cool with what they make and they think that's good money. But I'm like, inflation, cost of living is high. You got to make 3 times the rent nowadays. It used to be 2 times the rent. Now it's 3 times the rent. That's just to rent an apartment. And then you got gas is ridiculous. Where I drive back and forth is 30 miles. So you putting in gas at least twice a week. You know, like you said, groceries, all of that. So that adds up. And if you're not making the right amount, there's no way you're going to survive. Like you were saying, you literally got to have 2 jobs. And it's just a lot of people is struggling. Unless you got 2 incomes in the household, yeah, one person is going to be hard. I mean, you're barely making it. I don't know how some people do it and still be able to do what they want to do because you got electric bill, gas, all that stuff adds up. And it's funny that this particular job where I work at, the minimum wage is almost close to what they start us off at. And this is a manufacturing company. So I think part of it, you hit the nail on the head. You do have a lot of immigrants that come in and they go work more for less. They notorious for that. So, like you said, you could be somebody that has good qualities and your resume is outstanding, but because this other person comes in and work for less, they're gonna look at you like, well, you don't have to work here because we got Pablo over here that'll do it for less and work harder. So why should we give you more money? And that's kind of the theme down here in San Antonio. And I'm not saying all the job markets, but any factory, manufacturing, warehousing, some of them play good, but at the same time, like I said, they're not going to pay you a whole lot because of the simple fact you have, immigrants that come in and then they support each other. They stay together in the household, so there'd be 5 of them living together, and then they share that and make all the bills together. So they'll work for less. So I don't see that changing. And like you said, the skill set, you got to have some kind of trade. I believe that too, because the jobs that we have where I'm at is going to be taken over by AI pretty soon. You know, they already had a robot. And I saw something on the news the other day where they were saying that in Tokyo, they already had robots going around doing the jobs that ordinarily humans would do. And they slowly going to trickle that into the United States. So you're going to look at a lot of jobs that's going to be lost due to that. So where do we fall when you said that? If you're not already financially sound, it's going to be crabs in a bucket at that point, even more, because you're going to have people trying to get by. They're going to be pulling each other down so they can be the one on top. So yeah, unfortunately, it is getting worse. Hopefully get better, but sometimes it get worse before it get better. But I do believe that you should have a skill set. I'm a personal trainer, and that's changing for the simple fact that a lot of people online now, they got all these apps where they got showing you how to work out. So a lot of people not even going down that road because they can look at these little apps and show you how to work out and tell you what to do. So that's going to become obsolete. So yeah, even some skill sets you have is going to be almost, in a sense, vanished because there's so much technology out there that's taking the place of typical jobs that we used to do that we could do. So yeah, it's this point we got to start being smart with our money on how we finance it and get a trade. Like you said, you can get a degree, but at that point, by the time you're out of school and you had a degree, you got to be lucky or know somebody to get a job that's going to pay that money. So yeah, it is interesting. So like I said on the last time we had a podcast, it won't affect us as much but it's going to definitely affect our kids. And that's why I'm more like worried about, hoping that they get it and figure it out to know that it ain't going to be all cake. Y'all going to have to really make sure you have a job that's going to take care of you and have a future set up, some kind of financial stability, because for us, retirement is your 401k now. It's not even Social Security no more. So, or life insurance. So, yeah, you ain't got nothing planned for when you get older and retire. You're gonna be working, like you said. It's a dude that works with me. He's 75, doing hard labor, and I asked him why. He's like, "Cause I gotta pay the bills, bro." I said, why would you be paying bills this late? You don't have nobody to help take care of you. He's like, no, I'm single, and the Social Security is not paying for everything. So yeah, that's not good when you got to work at 75. Back in the day, it used to be 60 was retirement, I believe. Or was it 50?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
retired.
it's going up to 75.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So good stuff. So I want to hit this comment real quick. This question. So I think this Diamond Girl look like it's a different name, but it says the agenda is real. Do you think that the universe has plenty for everyone? Okay. There's like several questions in there. What is your take on manifesting what you desire versus the pitiful agenda? Then giving back, does belief move mountains? Okay, so that's a loaded question. So I'm going to take my time with it. All right, now with the first one, the agenda is real. Do you think that the universe has plenty for everyone? I do believe that, but this is my perspective on it, because there's so much separation and the truth is not really known. I know there's people out here saying that they believe that they're starting to wake up, they're starting to see the truth, they're starting to know the truth. So from that aspect, yes, the universe do have plenty, but at the same time, with people still, in my opinion, falling under the spell that's been put on us, the misprogramming that's been put on us, I think it's going to take not take a lot, but people really have to put aside their lower selves, and that's the best way I can explain it. And when I mean lower self, I mean 3D stuff. That's like material type things. And if a person don't know how to let that stuff go, then they won't know how to manifest. And so then they will fall prey to that agenda because they're still working in their lower self. So the whole agenda, part of the agenda is to keep everybody at a low vibration. If you keep people at a low vibration, it's no way they can manifest or become their higher selves, because they're constantly worried about the things of the 3D world. That's materialistic things. That's money. That's sex. That's food. Everything that's tangible, everything that makes, as the Christians say, the flesh feel good. But your higher self, it cares nothing about that stuff, because the higher self of you know that you can manifest whatever it is that you want. And so you're not going to be stressed out. You're not going to be worried about this so-called agenda and stuff that's going on, or people tripping about aliens and all that stuff. You're not going to be worried about this stuff, because your higher self knows that you can manifest and you can transmute negative energy and transmute energy into what you want it to be. So you're not going to be subject to the things that they're trying to, to control people with. So I believe people have to get to that level, and getting to that point is letting go of your lower self, the lower chakras, and moving up, to the higher chakras and operating in them higher chakras, because the higher chakras is all about spirituality, it's all about knowledge and stuff like that. So that's the only way you can truly manifest that. So if they continuing to keep people at a low vibration, then it doesn't matter. So then it will be the two society as far as rich and poor. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. And I think the other part of it was giving back. Does belief move mountains? I don't know. This may sound like contradictory. I think it's more than belief. Belief is part of it. You can believe something but not act on it. Like you can believe, okay, tomorrow's going to be a good day, but are you going to move in action knowing that it's going to be a good day? So just because you have belief that it's going to be a good day, you still have to walk in that energy, if that makes sense. So yes, belief is part of it, but action is the other part of it. And you know, it's a combination of both. And that's the thing with manifestation is you have to feel it. Like you literally have to feel it. Because once you feel it, then you're actually putting in motion, you know, that's a whole bunch, that's another topic for another day. So you actually have to feel it. Like you literally have to feel it. When I'm meditating and I'm manifesting or not manifesting, when I'm visualizing what it is that I want, I feel it. Like I can feel the energy surging through my body, like if I actually had it. So this job that I have now, kind of get off topic. I was doing DoorDash for about a year, and I was like, man, I'm tired of this. You know, I was tearing the car up. You know, I had the accident, putting miles on it, and I was like, you know what, I want to job from home. You know, I want to do something more customer service based. I wanted to more or less do like VA type stuff, dealing with the soldiers. But it took a year, but I finally got, you know, this job from home, and it's still kind of working with the government is still helping people, you know, even though someone make me want to pull my hair out. Um, but the point I'm trying to make is I had to feel it, and I kind of prolonged it because I wasn't feeling it. I was believing it, but I wasn't doing the second part of it as far as putting it in action, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question. Mark, what's your take on
it? Well, I mean, I'm gonna give the short version because I'm still new. No, what I mean by that is I'm gonna try to say less by saying more, meaning basically, like you said, I mean, you put it perfectly at the end when you said to me, and I always talk about this with Felicia, is your action is gonna have to go along with it. It has to be aligned. I mean, you don't have belief if you don't act on it, or you can't act on it if you don't have belief. So it's either or. They both hand in hand. So I believe whatever it is that you want, yeah, you can obtain it even against the agenda, but you got to keep pushing for it. And it's going to be obstacles, even though you're manifesting it. I'm a true believer still. As much as you manifest, there's still going to be things out there that's going to challenge you on getting whatever it is you want. And this is, like I said, I'm still new to the manifestation. So I don't want to speak out of turn when I say this. But to me, when you manifest something, is it, and like you said, it took you almost a year to get where you wanted as far as that job. So that's my point. In between that journey, things happen to kind of try to deter you, but you still had to believe and stay on course. So that's
it?
my whole point is even though you manifest it, I still believe you gotta put through the work and get it. Because I don't know if it just comes to you because you're manifesting it, you're visualizing it, and you're feeling it. I still think you got to go through the actions of it to actually obtain that. So I think, yeah, we can obtain anything we want as long as we stay true to it. And that's kind of correlates my little analogy, STS. You stay focused on what you're doing. You trust that the process and you be consistent, which is believing and acting, you're going to get what you want. So I do believe that, yeah, you can get what you want. And as the universe has plenty out there, as the old saying used to go, the world is yours if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going out there and go getting it. And again, being understanding that the challenges that comes with that is you can get through that. Because to me personally, I believe you can get it, but you got to be able to get through the hard times, the hardship of it. Because I just don't know if that's possible that if you manifest it's just going to come easy. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe you get it. But is it always going to be just like that? So that's just where I'm at on that. But I do believe that you can get anything you want in the universe and given. The other part when she was asking, I'm a firm believer in that. The more you give, the more you receive. With your intentions of doing good, because I had to push back on that. If you knowing that, are you doing it? Not you. There's some people saying, well, if I do this, the universe is going to give back. So to me, that's not genuine because you're doing it because you're expecting. So it got to be at 100. I'm caring and I want to help. And that's why I love my personal training. And I tell my clients this. I do it. The money is good. Of course, I want to be compensated, but at the same time, it's a passion of helping someone and motivating somebody, inspiring someone to change their life. Where some people can have the best job in the world. Because I remember when I was working at True Fit, this guy was a lawyer. He'd drive up in a freaking it wasn't a Ferrari. It was the
McLaren?
Huh?
McLaren?
Yeah, and dude, big time lawyer, but he had no confidence in himself and working out. Now, I'm not steering my own wheel, but it's just the point that I got him to be where he was confident and believed in himself. So that to me is giving and giving to somebody, whatever it is you do. Don't have to be personal trainers, whatever it is, like what you're doing, helping the veterans. I believe that's giving because you're helping them do something to help better them and ascend to whatever is next level they going. So to me, yeah, the universe will give back if your intentions are genuine, helping someone, caring, and wanting to see somebody else, evolve to a certain level to where, they want to be at. So hopefully that answered it a little bit, but
yeah. No, that was good. That was good. I like that. Now it's something else too to answer part of or to go back to that question.
Yeah.
Now I promise you, I was thinking about this today. I went to 7 Under and got me some stuff, some spiritual stuff, some sage and oils and stuff. So when came back, I was like vacuuming the floor, and as I was walking, I just had like this feeling come over me, and I was just in a moment of gratitude. Like I always hear that, and I don't know if you heard it, where people like gratitude is allowing. That's another way of allowing yourself to receive more, because a lot of times, I'll speak for myself. I felt as though I didn't have enough, and I wanted more, and I wasn't happy with what I have. And that still can block you because that's still energy. So that still blocks that positive stuff to come in, because again, when you're thinking bad about certain things and you're not happy, that's a low vibration. So you're not allowing that positive stuff to come to you. You're not attracting that positive energy and high vibrational stuff because you're in a low vibration, because you're worried about what you don't have. But when you're grateful and you're showing gratitude and like, man, now do I have a great big house? No, but I'm retired and I have options. And I was just thinking about, like the lady was saying, there's so many people out here that don't have jobs and stuff like that. And ever since I retired, I never went without. Now, rather if it was a job that I wanted, I never went without. I would still get my retired pay and my disability, but I still was able to, have a job. And I was just like being thankful. I was like, man, I'm just blessed. I'm so grateful for what I have. And I could be out here, struggling. I could be out here on the street. So I was like, you know what? I'm grateful for what I have, even though Black Pearl give me problems sometimes, and dealing with these jokers for customer service.
Yeah.
I'd be complaining sometimes, and I have to stop and think. It's like, you know what if I didn't have a job? a job?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have disability? What if I didn't have a retirement pay? Where would I be at? So I was like, you know what? I'm still thankful for where I'm at. I'm thankful for what I have.
Right.
And, that's opens the door along with the thinking or belief. And that's, like I said, going back to what she was asking, is to me, it's more to it than just belief. Like belief is part of it, but you got to have belief, you got to have action, you got to have gratitude. All that stuff ties into allowing yourself to evolve and to raise, your vibration, because you're not thinking about what you
Right.
don't have. You're not thinking about the negative stuff. You're thinking about positive stuff. And
Right.
anything that's positive is a high vibration. Um, so to get back on topic as far as what this whole discussion is supposed to be about.
Mhm.
Um, Now, as far as um, some of the people out here that's struggling, and the topic is it an agenda? And it's kind of going back to what we was talking about last week. And when I was like, you can't allow certain things to get to you because
Mhm.
that's still passing it on. It's like taking a torch and you passing it. Okay, one person posted and said,
Right.
okay, this is what's going on. And then you posted, so you still passing the torch, so to
Right.
speak, in my universal mindset. That's what I think. So I don't want to get caught up in the whole agenda conspiracy thing, because we do have the power to change that, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. Like, that question has really got me thinking, because even though it may appear to be that there's an agenda going on, as far as like they're trying to make just two classes, poor and rich, but then that again goes back to keeping people asleep and not knowing the truth. Because once people realize that they do have the power and
Mhm.
they can manifest stuff like that, then
Right.
that basically cuts that out.
Right.
Whatever they're trying to do is not going to have any power, because you already know. I don't care what you're doing, because
Right.
I know the power that I possess. I can manifest whatever I want, and
Right.
I'll have it.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
No, that makes a whole lot of sense because that still goes down the road of I say weak or strong. That might be kind of excessive, but you when I say strong, I mean mentally. I don't mean physically. I mean mentally strong. When I say that, that can correlate to what you say about manifestation and vibrating and all of that. The stronger ones mentally are the ones that's able to get out of that mindset of being programmed or following the agenda. Because, like you said, just because it's an agenda doesn't mean that you got to fall victim of it.
mm-hmm,
If you do realize it, and I keep saying this, and I'm gonna always say this, if you, not you, but just saying anybody that know something and they are aware of it, but they're not putting no action, like you kept saying, to me, that's the ones that's more detrimental, is the people that know and aren't doing anything to change their lives or anything. Then the ones that's ignorant to it, don't know, you can kind of give them a pass, but okay, they just don't know, they don't get it, they haven't
yeah,
awakened yet. But there's a lot of us out there that knows, but what are they doing now? Like you said earlier, good point about posting. It's a lot of people that post stuff, but that's all they doing. Like, it's good because I do that. I'm guilty of it. I repost certain things, and I feel like that's sharing. To just say, hey, like I always do the Felicia. I'm like, what do you think about this post? How
mm-hmm,
do you feel about that? So I do it more or less to get feedback, but not to try to act like, well, look what I know, and this is the way it is because this other person. No, I more or less do it to say, hey, what do you feel about this? And how do you take that? But at the same time, sharing, acknowledging someone is in a sense important because if we don't communicate, then nobody else is never going to know. So I feel like we do
mm-hmm,
have to kind of share what we know, even though it's a post. That's just the way of doing things nowadays because technology allows you to post. When back in the day, we'd call a person or go and talk to them, face to face. So I think it's important if you're doing it for the right reasons. Now, if you're doing it, like you
mm-hmm.
said, carry the torch, just to gossip, then yeah, that's different. But if you're trying to really educate somebody and get them to wake up and be like, hey, look at this. Perfect example is this guy at work. He's more or
Mm-hmm.
less, I could tell he's engaged, like he want to learn. And I told him, I said, dude, I'm not trying to manipulate you or draw you in. I'm just enlightening you. You take it for what it's worth. And he want more and more. So I can tell he's engaged. So he wants to know because he's keep asking questions. So to me, I think that's where it's important. If you get someone that seem like they in tune and they want to know and they want to learn more, then that's where I feel like you should share and let other people know. So to get back on course, yeah, the agenda is there. I believe it. I believe it is set up to control population control, and they're going to have that. But you said it doesn't necessarily mean we have to fall into that. We know it. We just got to keep going. That's why I keep saying it's going to be a journey. I don't think it's going to be easy, but if you stay on it, why can't you? Like you said, universe give back. If you're doing everything intentionally the right way, I don't think you would be affected by it.
Okay, so this may take a turn a little bit from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But this just came to my mind. Now, as far as like colors, a lot of people don't believe that colors have an impact on your everyday life, but it does. Now, I'm reading this book. It's called The Book of Wisdom, and it's amazing. I didn't even think about it. So everything that's in as business wise has colors in it. Now, a lot of the businesses, fast food, alcohol, the sex industry, the primary colors are associated with the lower chakras. Red is the lower chakra, that's root. I think yellow is the sacral, that's the lower chakra. So you got McDonald's, that's red and yellow. You got Pizza Hut, that's red and yellow. Taco Bell, that's like red and yellow. So majority of all the stuff that's not good for us are all colors that were based on the lower chakras. So subconsciously, you're taking that stuff in, and colors still energy, so it possesses frequency and vibration. So those lower vibrations and frequencies is keeping people in those lower vibrations because of everything that's around them is representing a lower vibration. So I know some people might think that you just a negative nanny, you don't believe anything, because I know a lot of people saying that people are awakening and stuff like that. And it's not that I'm judging them. It's just that I think some people have part of the truth, but not all of it. And that's dangerous because once you believe in it or you're awakening, you got to go 100%. Like you can't go half on one thing because that makes sense to you. You have to look at the total plate, so to speak, and say, okay, so this part makes sense. This part makes sense. That part I have to do. That part I have to do. Because if you're only doing part of it, you still fall victim to it because you're not, accepting, receiving other stuff. So it's all of it.
Yeah.
And so basically what I'm getting to is we have to take into account that in order to not fall prey to a lot of this stuff. And this is what one of the ladies was saying on the video, and I said this many times, is we can take back the power by what? Not supporting these businesses. That to me, that's the easiest way to do it. Stop buying the stuff that they're putting out, start producing for yourself, start eating the right type of foods and stuff. Stop entertaining yourself with stuff that's a low vibration. Then that agenda won't work. So you can believe and try to manifest all you want, but if you're still not doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's a moot point.
Right.
So it's, in my opinion, that we have to look at the big picture and look at everything. It's not just one aspect.
Right.
And that's to me the best way to combat this. So I don't want people to have their false notion of, okay, so all I got to do is just meditate and visualize and manifest, and then I'm not going to fall victim to all this stuff. You still got to be conscious as far as the stuff that they're doing and still not fall prey to it. Because you can manifest all you want, but if you're still allowing yourself to be affected by the low vibrational stuff that's around you, then what good is it? Like you have to change everything, to send it to them higher chakras and operating them higher chakras. You have to start introducing things in your life. And this is something that's crazy. My house is all red. And I was like, what the hell made me want to have red?
Right.
And then I was just thinking about when I was here and all the stuff that I went through. This may sound crazy, but that's just my belief. I was operating out of my lower chakra, which is the root chakra, because red is associated with the root chakra. That's your lower chakra. So that's the lower vibration. So, and purple is the highest vibration. That's the crown chakra. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Like the next car I get is going to be a purple car. When I get my next house, it's going to be all purple. So I'm going to start wearing clothes and operating and stuff and with the higher chakras, because that's a higher vibration, higher frequency. So those are the things too that people have to do, incorporate into their life to help manifest things. Is like I said, it has to be your entire life, not just talking it and not saying you doing it, but if someone just posting stuff or whatever, it's the entire life. Everything you associate with has to be at a higher vibration.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes 100%. That goes back to, like I said, you got to walk the walk and talk it in so many words. You know, that's basically what you're saying. And I've been saying that for the longest. Like, there's a lot of people out here wearing the bracelets and all of that. Like you said, they represent, but do they follow it, or they believe in it, or it's because it's a trend and it's the thing to do because everybody's getting it? So that's where it falls into that point where, yeah, you have to do it all. And that's in anything in life when you think about it. If you're going to do it, go 100%. Don't go, like you said, half-ass and then expect that you're doing good because you're doing some, but not all. But, you know, it's funny when you mention the color thing. I remember that when I used to work for HEB, and they taught us about colors because they told us literally how the colors represent and how people are drawn into it. Now, I never thought about the chakra stuff because I'm just now getting into that and learning what chakras and all that is. So, but yeah, they taught us that in HEB on how they color code the stores and how it grasps that people. And then it's funny you said that about the bright colors. Yeah, it is. You know, that's something that never dawned on until right now when you said that. So, yeah, I do believe that we do have to practice it 100 across the board. You know, and I think that's something that's possible. But that's where the belief comes in. You know, you have to believe it to do it. But I also believe that you have to see something to convince you. And you said that earlier. Once you feel it and you know, and you're gonna keep going forward. Now, I'm not speaking for anybody 100 wholeheartedly, but I believe that's part of the problem. Is a lot of people that wait and see. Oh, I don't see nothing, so I ain't gonna believe it. You know. And until then, they're not going to believe it. And that's what I always go back to. You got to trust that process. That's why I always use that phrase. You trust your process as you stay focused and being consistent at it, you're going to believe because you're doing everything in tune, in concert together. So yeah.
That's great. It kind of took a when she brought that up, it kind of took a turn because now it's like, I don't want to speak on it because it's kind of like speaking negative, because now I'm getting caught up in like, oh my God, there's an agenda that's being put in place, and you know, what are we going to do? I don't know. It's just tricky because I can see it, but at the same time, I know I can overcome it and not be subject to it because I know I possess that power to, you know, I can have anything that I want. But that's tricky, you know, it is, because you can sit out here and you can see all the stuff that's going on, and you know that the prices and stuff is getting ridiculously high, and you can still fall prey to it, subject to it. And it's like, okay, do you want to be realistic on one end and say, okay, this is what really is happening, but then on the other end, do you really want to be like so positive and speaking so much into existence, like, well, even though this is what's happening, I know this is where I'm going to be at, I know this is what I'm going to have, to whereas other people's like, man, this fool tripping, you know. kind of like the ladies in the videos, like y'all need to prepare. And she was like, well, I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but things is getting bad and we really need to prepare. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, that's true. But at the same time, you are inducing fear
Mm-hmm.
because anything that you're afraid of, that's fear. That's going to change your mindset in preparation of that's fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because one of my things is, I'll go with the in the moment type of person, and I don't go with what's tomorrow or anything like that. I'm not planning for that. I'm just going in the moment. So, in a sense, for some people that looks crazy and sound crazy because
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you have to prepare
Right.
because all the stuff that's happening around you. But then
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, I look at it, the only reason why it's happening is because people are thinking it.
Right.
So what you believe, you perceive becomes your reality. That's my
Right.
favorite saying. So because everybody is believing it, they're basically creating an energy. So they're manifesting it for it to happen. So it will happen because everybody's believing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's like tricky because even you as an individual can say, okay, I know I'm good. I don't care what's going on. I know what I can manifest. But like literally when you get up and you hear this stuff, you know that it's going on because you hear people talking about it.
Right.
So I don't know. It's to me, it's just like a thin line
Yeah.
because you don't want to come off as this dude is like really out there and
Right.
he's setting himself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
So do you truly, not you, but does a person truly believe that they can manifest anything they want and not fall prey to this agenda stuff? Or you say, you know what? I still believe that, but I'm still going to prepare just in case. But in my assumption, that's still fear.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. It's tricky when you think about it because it's like, okay, especially coming from the military, you always prepare for what may happen. But then when I sit back and think about it, it's like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, you're still manifesting that because you're thinking about it and preparing that it may happen. Even though it might not happen, you're still preparing as if it may happen. So in a sense, you're still
Yeah.
manifesting it because like, okay, just in case, opposed to saying, you know what, I'm believing it's not going to happen. This is what I'm saying is going to happen. This is what I'm speaking into, and this is what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have the confidence and belief to speak that, but not only speak it, but to walk it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was going to say that's almost like saying forget everybody else. I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to share it. It's kind of like it made me think of Friday. I don't know why. When Smokey was like, I mean, Ezel was like, "Hey, Smokey out here taking the shit." It's a Ezel. I ain't gonna tell nobody else. So it's like
Yeah.
but maybe if you share it with people that can only receive it without being fear, it's more of a awareness. But I hear
Mm.
what you're saying about if you speak it, then you are putting it out there in existence. Then it's almost like you just kind of believe that nothing's going to happen. It's almost like being pure. To
Hmm.
me, that's what it was. To me, that's what it would come across. Even though you may hear it from somebody else, but if you believe it and then
Hmm.
start speaking on it, you actually manifesting it. So in other words, to flip that, you got to block it out. Say that's not true. It's not going to happen.
Hmm.
It's somebody doing scare tactics, and I'm just going to keep moving on and just live my life.
Hmm.
That would seem like would be the approach. But like you said, who can really do that? It's like
Hmm.
almost closing yourself out to the world.
Yep.
To me, that's what it seemed like it would be. Is it possible? Yeah, I'm pretty sure some people that do that already, that kind of keep themselves away from everybody. But then is that
Hmm.
really living? And that's my next question is, are you living at that point?
Okay. Now I'm glad you brought that up because, and I posed this question to somebody. I was like, well, that's the favorite saying that everyone says. Well, if you're not doing this, you're not living. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
enjoying yourself, you're not living. You're supposed to live.
Right.
And this may sound crazy. And
Yeah.
again, it's still, to me, kind of have a sense of fear because it's like, okay, so I have to do anything and everything that I can because I know I'm not going to be here for a long time. So let me just do it because that's living. To
Mm-hmm.
me, living is having a dream, living out that dream, being who you genuinely are. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying if you psycho and stuff, you out killing people and stuff like that, but as
Right.
long as you have good intention
Mm-hmm.
and you being who you truly are, you're not worried about what anybody says, and you're operating off of your beliefs, and you just enjoy life,
Mm.
like so to speak, with all the stuff that's going on. Like I sent you the thing with the cruise,
Yeah.
and I think it was flipped over or just going through a lot of turbulence and stuff.
Yeah.
People in the comments was like, see, that's why I don't go on cruises. I'm not going on a cruise.
Right.
So in a sense, that's not living, because even though you saw that, now you say, okay, so I'm cutting that part of my experience of life out because I don't want to experience that. And
Right.
someone posted, well, just go during the season when it's not like that. Why are you going in part of the season where it's known to have
Right.
hurricanes and stuff like that? So in a sense, I think that's part of, to me, is living is not living in fear, not cutting yourself off from things that you want to do because of what someone may say or things that you may, seen of her or heard. So to me, that's truly living.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, because that's basically saying the old saying we would say. Mom used to say this: "Don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen." But then that
Mm-hmm.
goes back again to it's always going to be to what you think, and that makes me think of the Matrix. And when
Mm-hmm.
Neo was the agent was talking to Neo, and he was saying that everything you believe you think is actual there, but it really may not be. It's just what you want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I'm just making fun of this. So that's just like you saying you're gonna walk across the street and don't worry about if you get hit or not, because you know you're not, because you're not in fear. So I mean, you
Yeah.
can be not in fear, but it still may happen regardless, because it just might be the way it happens. So I agree with all that, but the only thing I push back on that is, even though we control what happens to us, some things is uncontrollable. You
Mm.
know, and we can't worry about that because we don't know. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
part where is the catch 22 is, yeah, you can live without no fear, but what happens when it does happen, and how does that mess with your psyche when you had all that belief that nothing could never happen, because I never thought about it, but it still did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one, you got to believe it, but sometimes shit happens, and you know I don't I don't think it's always because we thought about it. Because I know when I had that car accident last year, and I told Felicia that, she said, "Well, it's because you thought about it." Because I saw the girl swerving in and out, and I was like, "Damn, this damn girl gonna hit somebody." But I never
Mm-hmm.
said she gonna hit me. And lo and behold, she hits me. So, and that's right after she took that happened is when I saw The Secret, that TV
Mm-hmm.
show, the documentary. So, I mean, I believe everything he was saying, but at that point where I'm like, okay, now wait a minute. I was not driving thinking I'm gonna get in an accident today. I was nowhere in my mind. I was thinking that. I just saw somebody that was reckless, and my reaction was, she gonna hit somebody or crash. So that's where I was like, well, why would it be on me? Because I spoke it into existence. It just had to be me because I was thinking about it. And I'm thinking a lot of people might have been thinking that same thing, because the way that girl was driving, it was almost a foreshadow. Like you could see it coming because she
Mm-hmm.
was that reckless. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's got to be pure mind. And I'm a firm believer of that. Like I said, I'm still new, beginner with the manifestation and believing all that. But I always believed before I got into this is I don't worry about anything that I can't control. And mom, I'm not mom, but somebody I used to date back in the 90s told me, my ex
Mm-hmm.
Edith told me that you don't worry about nothing. You just seem like you don't care. I said, because if I can't control it, why am I sit there and worry about it? Like if I
Mm-hmm.
create something, and I tell the kids this all the time, even Felicia, I tell anybody, and myself included, if you know what you're gonna do and you are okay with the consequences, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. So in a sense, what that mean is, in a sense, is still creating your own manifestations, because whatever you're thinking about, you're creating that. Now, if you know good or bad, whatever comes out of that, if you cool with it, then you shouldn't have no worries. So that's just how I am. Everything in a nutshell with this, with the agenda. If you walk through it and worry about it, whatever happens, you got to be accepting that consequence, because that's what you put out there. But if you don't worry about it and you just do what you do, then all is well that ends well. So, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that. That's why like social media is dangerous. Like even though you have people in this conscious community, it's still you got to be careful because, and that's why I said like the individual have to believe what it is they believe and not be affected by other people. Because even though these people in the conscious community and stuff like that are talking about, well, you got to prepare for what's coming and stuff like that. And it's something you just said is powerful. Is like, if it's nothing that you can control, and as long as you control what it is that you can control, then the agenda won't affect you. But because everybody is becoming to fall under that fear, I'm like, okay, this is really what's happening, then I have to prepare. So to me, it's like these conscious people are still kind of supporting the agenda in a sense, because especially anybody that believes in like metaphysics and stuff like that, and quantum physics, like energy. So if you person truly believe that wholeheartedly, then you know that nothing can truly affect you because you control the energy and stuff and what comes your way. So even if they do, get to a point to where it's a two class society, you can be part of that high class society because you're putting yourself in position to have material things in this matrix or whatever, you know what I mean? Money or whatever it is. So then you won't be subject to being in the lower class. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just really, really tricky. It's a thin line. And again, like I said, it kind of puts the person in a space of, well, if I'm part of this conscious community, then what these people are saying is true, then I still have to prepare. But then on the other hand, like I said, if you truly believe in quantum physics and energy and manipulation and manifestation, then you won't fall prey to it. Be like, okay, I hear you, but at the same time, I know what I can create. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's still putting that person in a quandary in a sense of, okay, I want to be powerful and manifesting things, but at the same time, I still have to prepare just in case. And to me, that's still, it sounds crazy. I know it does to say preparing is living in fear, because it's like, okay, like the freaking jokers, all these rich people building the bunkers.
Right.
And everybody's like, man, why are they building the bunkers? They know something. So that's putting people in fear, because it's like, okay, if they build a bunkers, something is definitely coming. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, a person really have to stand on what it is that they believe and block out both sides, because both sides can still keep a person in fear, in my opinion.
So I just thought about this. I'm trying to remember before I forget. So you made a comment earlier about the living in fear. And then I'm thinking about the agenda and what is living when you made the comment, when you spoke on that. So what is the difference? What's separating the rich and the poor? Is the money and wealth? So if you're not wealthy and rich, then you're not happy. And that's the reason why you're poor, because you could be rich in life, rich in enjoying yourself and not even be rich, but you in it, in the physicality of it, in the mental aspect, not the material. Because to me, that's what I feel like the agenda is. If you're not at this point in life financially house, car, living good, traveling, then you're considered the higher class. If you struggling to live every day to make it ends meet, then you the lower class, you the poor. So then that question I asked, and is that really that bad? If we shouldn't be worrying about trying to get that life because that's more the 3D life because it's all about material stuff. So
Hmm.
if we stay poor, is that necessarily bad? I mean, we could be the ones living better than the ones that's rich because they just living off of material. So
Hmm.
they deem themselves better than the other people. You know what I mean? So if we shouldn't have fear of life, I mean, of the agenda, then, and I'm not saying that to go is okay to be poor. I'm just saying, like, if that happens, are we really not living, enjoying life? Because I'm gonna say right now, I'm in the lower class considered by financial, the way they put it out there, and I think I enjoy myself. You
Yeah.
know, people just, and I'm saying that for a reason, meaning I do what I do to enjoy myself to where I don't feel
Hmm.
miserable and like, man, my life sucks. I'm not doing anything. I was telling this guy at work, and he's like, damn, man, you always going somewhere. He's like, you always going somewhere. I said, I'm trying to catch up with my brother. And my mom was like that. But I said, I love to travel. I just love to get out and get away.
Hmm.
And there's one dude, he got money. The dude works out at the gym. He's a lawyer or something. This other guy, the other day, just
Hmm.
walked up and started talking. And he bragging about how much he got, but he don't do anything. He just has a lot of money. I
Mm.
think one of those that was poor, but he just liked the fact that he has money. And I told him stuff I like to do, and he's like, "Wow, you really like to get out and enjoy yourself." I said, "Yeah."
Hmm.
So my point, all is what I'm saying is, even though you may not have the riches, you can still live. And I guess people use the term "out of your means," but is that really
Hmm.
living out of your means, or you're living to keep yourself happy in your world, just in general? So I think the agenda is what I'm getting to is put in place, obviously, to segregate everybody.
Hmm.
But initially, individually, even if you're not there yet, if you're working on it, you can't put yourself down and be like, damn, I fell into the agenda because I'm not succeeding. No, if you
Mm.
think like that, yeah, you never will get to that aspect. So
That was good.
yeah.
About I can't even
Oh,
talk. The
speechless, huh?
entire time we've been doing, you got me tongue tied over here. No,
Yeah,
that was really, really good. That was real good insight,
yeah.
and you hit the nail on the head. Like
Mhm.
for real, that's a really good perspective because what is living? Like they try to tell you living with a whole bunch of money and material stuff is living. But like you said, if you're in your mind that you're doing the things that you want to do and you're having a good time, you're around people that truly love you, genuinely love you, then that's to me, that's part of living life and experiencing life is to truly experience real love, universal love, not 3D love, but real
Right,
universal godly love. So
right.
to me, that's truly living because you're living that experience and you're going through it. So that's a hell of a good point. And in its sense, in itself, that is like an agenda because it's like, okay, we're tricking you to believe because
Mhm,
you don't have that you can't enjoy life. You're not living your life
mhm.
because you don't have the things that we have.
Right.
So that's a real good good point. Yeah. Damn, you got me speechless on that one.
Yeah, it's
But
funny. Yeah. Yeah, because
no,
I
the
want to
true.
get back into last week's episode because you made a good point about falling into that trap of buying into it. But I was just, and I did look. I'm not gonna lie because it's out there, but I'm not hard pressed on it and like, oh my god, what is going on? But it just made me think again. God, I hate to go. No, I ain't gonna say I hate to go back, but I'm gonna go backwards a little bit on what we talked about last week about us supporting each other as a black community. But then I thought
Mhm.
about that's part of the agenda is to tear down the successful because again, whatever it is, I still personally think is entertainment. But to
Oh yeah.
be rich it seemed like unless you rich without the fame, that would be an agenda I wouldn't want, because it seemed like you're sacrificing your lifestyle to be famous instead of just well off financially. Because honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm striving to be financially well off and not famous. And a lot of people want to be famous. You can get famous doing this podcast nowadays.
Right.
So what is fame? But it comes at a cost. And I
Mm-hmm.
was sitting there looking at how they was trying to target all these particular icons. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's an agenda, even though it's kind of off subject. But if you look at all the people that's been in the news over the last 2 years, you had Will Smith, you had Diddy, Jamie
Mm-hmm.
Foxx, now Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and then they even coming for Barack Obama and putting stuff out there. They went for Bill Cosby. So I just think that it's an agenda too, that you become successful and powerful. For some reason, they're being targeted more now to discredit them than ever. Now you can say that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the powers to be or whatever, because like I said, that's kind of subject for a different day. But I just wanted to correlate that with being the higher class. Is that really that good? Because a lot of people want to be higher, but do they want the fame with that, or just, again, well off financially? Because mom used to teach us that. Well, I've noticed that, and you did it too. And Jay, is you could do and travel if you mind manage your money right. You know what I mean? So whatever it is you
Mm-hmm.
choose to do in life, let me put it that way. If you want it, you can do it if you manage it right. Sometimes some of us don't know how to manage ourselves, and that's why we be stuck in that position where we can't enjoy and feel like nothing's going right. So I think that's, again, individually on how we handle and manage ourselves. And some of that
Mm-hmm.
comes with being misled, programmed, brainwashed, manipulated, whatever you want to call it. But I think that's part of it too. But yeah, like I said, that was kind of going off subject with that, but it just hit me and made me think about that right now. So yeah,
No, that was good though. But yeah. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. Um, I think we pretty much uh
yeah, we touched it. I
covered.
think pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah. Like I said, now I don't speak on it that much because I don't want to be in that space of
right.
fear or oh my God, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
if it comes, it comes.
yeah,
If it don't, it don't. So,
yeah. Well, I mean,
but
I
yeah, I
think
was just
no, I'm just gonna say, I'm sorry, man. I think awareness to me isn't bad. Again, it's false to individual. Because if you let's for example, you tell me something, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And I just take it for what it is, but like, wow, we just need to just keep enjoying life. And I go tell the next person, that person overreact. Oh my God, and just go panicky. So I think
mhm.
even though we do share and bring awareness, I think again it falls to the individual. So it's kind of redundant what you just said. But to me, it's nothing wrong with it, is what I'm trying to say. It just depends on who you are. If you're that person that's scary, you just want to overreact, then yeah.
Mhm.
But some people bring awareness to. I don't think it's spreading fear. I think it's bringing awareness, and it's like, wow, I didn't know that. Damn, like what you said, like that's bringing that to my attention. Not
Mhm.
that I'm gonna go running around worrying about it, but now it just keeps me more aware of what's going on instead of panicky. So I think part of it is on the individual, the scary type of person that overreacts. Yeah. So that's why I said to end this, to go back to, it depends on who you talk to, because I think some people it's good to share knowledge, wisdom, stuff with. Not everybody needs to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some people, yeah, they overreact. Like certain people, like I ain't gonna say nothing to him because I already know he
Yeah.
gonna and go and run with it. But her, I know she gonna take it for face value and be like, damn,
Mhm.
appreciate the heads up. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay. So, yeah. So in my closing, um, does the United States have an agenda with two-class society? Just like you said, it's something to be aware of, something to pay attention to. So I think the bottom line is to for me to continue to, reach for my higher self, continue to have the best intentions and focus on the positive things and not the negative things, and prepare myself for that, and not get caught up into what's down the future, because the future, as Dad used to say, there is no tomorrow. So when tomorrow comes, as long as you got the good intention, if that sounds right,
Yeah.
you attack it the best way you know how. And I'm going to leave it at that. So, yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I think it was good conversation,
Yeah, I
different
loved it.
perspectives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I'm just, end it on what I always say. I'm sorry, guys. Something popped up on the screen. Is STS. I don't know what the heck it was. All the time, nothing came up until now. But anyway, just STS. I live by it. I believe it. I'm practicing it. I use this terminology for working out, but again, I believe this is aspects of life. STS. We stay focused. We trust our process, because everything is a process, and stay consistent. You will reach whatever it is you're trying to obtain. So
All right.
appreciate everybody for viewing.
All right, beautiful people, your thoughts becomes your beliefs, and your beliefs is your reality. Until next time, y'all enjoy the weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather if you're in Georgia, and we out.